Ah, the Virtual Boy, Nintendo's failed virtual reality platform from 1995. Since owning this bloody thing, I have found it highly amusing playing with it in bizarre locations. A few months ago, I was travelling around America and did a system review at the Grand Canyon. This week, however, I thought I'd make a little bit of history and become the first man to have played the Virtual Boy at both the Grand Canyon and in the grounds of a bloody castle. This is Colchester Castle in Essex, England. This is an example of a largely complete Norman castle. Colchester is Britain's oldest recorded town, and this keep here is the largest ever built in Britain and the largest surviving example in the whole of Europe. The castle is built on the foundations of an earlier Roman temple of Claudius built between 54 and 60 AD. These foundations with their massive vaults have since been uncovered and can be viewed today on a castle tour. 3 years after the Battle of Hastings, the castle began being built between 1069 and 1076. However, building was stopped in 1080 due to the threat of a Viking invasion. Eventually, the castle was completed by around 1100. However, the most important part in the castle's history took place another 983 years later, when a man in a top hat decided to play Virtual Boy and review Mario Clash within the castle's grounds. Yeah! Surprisingly, Mario Clash hasn't been talked about a great deal on YouTube, which in my opinion is absolutely bizarre for a Nintendo title, particularly a game featuring the company's biggest star. However, whenever the game does get touched upon, I have noticed the reception is overall quite negative. By far the game's most major criticism appears to be that many people do not like that the game does not play like a traditional side-scrolling Mario game. The game is apparently based on and often compared to the Mario Bros. Original arcade game. The comparisons are due to the game's single-screen level nature and the fact that in order to clear each stage you have to eliminate all the enemies on the screen. If you are too slow, the fireball you get on the screen in Mario Bros. Also makes a return. However, apart from these similarities, the game is fairly innovative in my opinion. Mario Clash is the first stereoscopic 3D Mario game and a 3D reimagining of Mario Bros. In Mario Clash, Mario must grind his way through 100 levels in which are made up of pipes and platforms. Throughout these stages you earn points by clearing the screen of enemies, and each time this is done you get to move on to the next stage. Both Mario and the on-screen enemies can use the pipes to get to different platforms. The platforms are arranged vertically so that you have some in the foreground and some in the background. The pipes allow you to travel between the two. I personally love that this game is not a traditional Mario side-scroller, and here is my reasons why. Firstly, the Virtual Boy is a platform in which you have to play in 3D. Due to this feature, the platform is not suitable to be played over long sessions, so arcade-style games in which you get to play in short bursts, such as Mario Clash, are absolutely perfect for the Virtual Boy. As usual as well, Nintendo really thought about what was unique about their gaming platform and implemented features into the game in which could only be taken advantage of on the Virtual Boy. As mentioned earlier, you play the game across both a background and foreground. These two planes, combined with the 3D, really give the player a sense of depth when playing the game, overall giving you a really unique experience. The third reason I really like this game is it is the opposite reason others do not like the title. I like it because it's completely different to any of the other Mario games. I do not know about the rest of you, but in 2017 I am bloody sick and tired of all the 2D side-scrolling Mario games. In the last few years alone we have received New Super Mario Bros, New Super Mario Bros 2, New Super Mario Bros Wii, New Super Mario Bros U, Super Luigi U, Mario Maker and Mario Maker DS. I don't know about you, but to me that is bloody overkill. It's not like the old days where every Mario game they would introduce a new graphical style. We haven't seen a new looking 2D Mario game for bloody 12 years now. It's a bloody insult to the eyes, I tell you. Let's boycott! Anyway, On the subject of the super fresh Mario Clash game, the game innovates by giving the player a range of enemies to defeat, each in which require a different tactic to defeat. Each of these enemies all have to be defeated with shells, but their movement and the number of hits required vary, along with which angle in which you have to tackle each one from. The small spiked creatures, for example, can be dispatched by a single hit from any direction, whilst the crab has to be spun around first before you are able to stun it. From my experience, it is a lot more challenging than it looks when trying to hit an enemy with a shell from one plane to another. This little bit of challenge, in my opinion, makes it feel extra pleasurable whenever you are successful making a hit on an enemy. In terms of the game's overall difficulty, the game starts off slow with just a few enemies, allowing you to learn the method you need to dispatch each foe. As you progress, the game gets steadily more difficult, and you eventually start to find yourself with enemies coming at you from all directions. As the screen fills up with more and more enemies, this adds extra layers of excitement to the game. As with the busier screens, you soon find yourself having to avoid enemies rather than just defeating them. Later levels begin to get extremely challenging, especially the ones that involve those bloody Dratini looking things. The things that make these slippery little buggers so hard to deal with is that they continuously lay eggs, regularly spawning extra enemies in which spread faster than bloody cancer. It isn't just the enemies that are out to kill you. Oh no. As I mentioned previously, the fireballs from Mario Bros. Arcade are back, along with icicles that form under platforms before falling. Some levels are also icy, which mixes up the challenge even further by making everything bloody slippery. Occasionally, a mushroom appears on the screen. This is the game's only power-up, and if you pick it up, you can quickly get rid of foes, as this allows you to use your shells to hit enemies from any direction. Once every few levels, you also get a nice little bonus level. Basically, you just jump about collecting coins, and if you get enough of them, you get an extra life. Nothing special really, but still a nice change in gameplay. As mentioned earlier, the game features 100 levels, so the game offers a fair amount of content. Unfortunately, the game does not include a save feature. However, fortunately, the game does let you pick up from any of the first 40 levels to start from when beginning the playthrough. Overall, I would go as far to say that Mario Clash is certainly one of Nintendo's hidden gems, and if you are fortunate enough to own a Virtual Boy, I would recommend the game as an essential purchase for your collection. The game provides a fun level of challenge, and I got a lot of enjoyment out of the title. The game may not have been the next Super Mario Bros. 3, but it was the first Mario Clash. There isn't really another game in the entire Nintendo library really like this one, so it is certainly worth a look at. If you liked my Mario Clash video today, then I am sure you'll be entertained by my video about the Virtual Boy system itself. Click the annotation preceding this video to watch it. Also, if you're new to my channel, then not forget to hit the subscribe button for regular weekly doses of retro gaming goodness. Shoutouts to Jarrett Tolzian, Bricky's Lad, Mad 8 Productions, Andreas Larson, Peter Zedon, Diego Pereira, and all of my other patrons. Thank you for your support. Yeah! If you want to be added to this prestigious list of patrons, then check out my Patreon page. Ta-ta and farewell.